Let's bring in senior political analyst Brit Hume to discuss what we're learning about President Biden during this crisis. Good evening, Brit. For 30,000 feet here, what do you think this says about President Biden, his leadership, and where it goes from here?
Well, Brett, I think people have to begin now to assess whether this president was the president they thought he was and would be. After all, this is the seasoned foreign policy expert, former chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, a post he held twice. The kind of man they believed, I think, would not make serious foreign policy mistakes. And yet, this is the first big foreign policy issue of his presidency, the first big crisis. And the condemnation of it has been virtually unanimous across the board, including many Democrats, not to mention that it has gotten a level of criticism from the mainstream media one rarely sees directed at a Democratic president. Not to mention the fact that the public can see with its own eyes that nearly all the things that President Biden told us would not happen in Afghanistan have now come to pass. Yes, indeed, it was a remarkable evacuation mission, a remarkable response to an emergency, but it was an emergency created by this administration in the way that it handled the evacuation. And we know now that the president repeatedly overruled his military advisors as to how to conduct this evacuation. So it seems to me that there's a real chance here that people are looking at this president in an entirely new light and may not see him the same again.
You know, obviously the focus is on the Americans on the ground, the Afghan allies who worked with us trying to get those people out who want to get out. But in the political sphere, a lot of times people just talk about Americans losing interest, turning the page, closing the chapter and moving on. Obviously, the administration would like that to happen. Is it going to happen with something like Afghanistan and this handling?
Well, as long as there are Americans there that want to get out and cannot or have not gotten out, and there are tales of atrocities by the Taliban, which I suspect will multiply in the days ahead, such that even though we don't have very much in the way of news coverage coming out of there, word gets out. So it will be hard for this issue to fade completely anytime soon, which is not to say that over time people's memory of it won't fade, but they will, I think, remember for a very long time the shaky character who came out and made these bogus explanations of what was happening and why it happened, said things that were palpably not true and was called on them. So the question becomes, yes, people may stop thinking about Afghanistan as such, but it really is a good question whether they will ever look at Joe Biden the same way again.
Britt, as always, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.